Warren Buffett says his favorite holding period for any stock he owns is forever. And who am I to argue with that? In this video, I'll give you my 3 favorite dividend stocks that I own and will never sell. And just because I like you so much, stick around to the end of the video and I'll give you a 4th one. So let's roll the intro and get into it. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I don't know why I always try to specify. If you're new here, my name's Jay, and on this channel, I give you all the tools, the tips, and the tricks that you need to get the most out of your money. If that's something you're into, please consider subscribing down below. If you've been here before, welcome back. And without further ado, here are the 3 dividend stocks that I own and plan to hold forever. Now, if you noticed, I've been specifying dividend stocks. And that's not just for the YouTube algorithm, which you should totally hit the like button for right now, but it's because I think dividend stocks are the absolute best stocks to own over the long term. From 1926 to 2008, the S&P 500 returned an average of 9.69% per year. And dividends made up for over 43% of the total returns in that time. That means almost half of the stock market's total return over an 80-year period was from dividends, not price appreciation. If we look at a more recent time frame, say 1970 to today, 78% of the S&P 500's total returns have come from reinvested dividends, not stock price appreciation. So while it might be the sexier thing to do to invest in a stock like Tesla or Amazon, a company that's going to have these huge price swings you might gain 1,000% on, but also might go to zero, the safe bet of making money in the stock market comes from safe dividend stocks. Now, before we get into the list, a quick word from my lawyer. Jay Fairbrother is not a registered investment, legal, or tax advisor or a broker-dealer. All investment financial opinions expressed by Jay are from the personal research and experience of the owner of this YouTube channel and are intended as educational material only. Although best efforts are made to ensure that information is accurate and up to date, occasionally unintended errors may occur. Thank you. But really, these are all stocks I own. They are stocks I bought long ago. I'm not saying that they are good buys in any way at the current moment, whenever this is that you're watching this video. They're just companies I love that I own that I intend to keep. It's up to you to figure out if they fit your investment portfolio, what a good price for you to buy them, if you should so desire, and all that. So without further ado, the number 3 stock that I own and plan to hold forever is Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson belongs to the dividend kings. That's a group of stocks that have paid and increased their dividends every year for 50 or more years in a row. That means that in good economies, in bad economies, and everything in between, you can not only count on getting a dividend from Johnson & Johnson, but you can count on them raising the amount of that dividend you get each year. When I first bought Johnson & Johnson, the dividend was 49 cents per share. If we fast forward to today, the dividend is over $1 per share. That means in just the time that I've owned Johnson & Johnson, they've more than doubled the amount of the dividend that they pay me every quarter. So my paycheck from Johnson & Johnson has doubled. I can't say the same about the paycheck from my job. And beyond just the payout of the dividend, Johnson & Johnson as a company is a very stable company. They've been around for hundreds of years. The products they make are things we use in our everyday lives, which is why in any economy, the good economies, the bad economies, Johnson & Johnson products sell. And I'm far from a genius about these things, but I see no reason that's going to stop it anytime soon. So I'm going to keep my Johnson & Johnson shares. I may add to them sometime in the future, but I promise you, unless something catastrophic happens, I plan to never sell my shares of Johnson & Johnson. That brings us to number 2 on the list of dividend stocks that I plan to hold forever. This next stock is a very popular company, a very popular stock, but it's kind of unconventional until recently when we talk about dividend stocks. That company is Apple. For most of its history, Apple has been known as an exciting tech stock with huge growth potential. I remember every time they came out with a new version of the iPod, yeah, I'm that old, or every version of the iPhone, the stock would skyrocket. They would break records after records. Every earning announcement was just a reason for the stock to go higher and higher. Now, the days of Apple stock growing exponentially in price like that may be behind it, but that doesn't mean it's not a fantastic stock to hold now and for the long term. You see, Apple started paying a dividend again in 2012, and they've increased that dividend every year since. But what's exciting about Apple, and specifically the prospects for their dividend, is the fact that Apple has over $200 billion with a B, $200 billion in cash on hand. That makes Apple, the company, richer than over 100 countries on this planet. I bought Apple back in 2013, around one of the first times where people really thought that Apple was starting to lose its mojo and its days of huge growth were over. Since that time, Apple's stock price has increased by 530%, and they've paid me a dividend every quarter on top of that. That by far and away represents the greatest return on an investment that I've had to date. And with the popularity of their MacBooks, their iPads, and their iPhones, along with that hoard of cash they have, I see no reason for Apple to slow down anytime soon. That's why they're number 2 on the list of stocks that I own that I'll plan to hold forever. Now on to number 1. Drum roll, please! My number 1 most favorite, best dividend stock that I plan to hold forever is Visa. Again, not a stock that many would think of when we're talking about traditional dividend stocks, but Visa has always been a stock that's been near and dear to my heart. I remember back in 2008 when Visa declared their initial public offering, or IPO, basically the first time their shares are going to be available to be traded by the public. I knew Visa was a great company and I really wanted to get in on the stock, but I just didn't have enough money at the time to be investing in a stock like that. Not getting in on Visa at that IPO price haunts me to this day. Now, if back in 2008 there was a broker around like Robinhood where I could have invested without paying any commissions fees, I could have bought fractional shares with what little money I had at the time, my investment in Visa at that time would have grown by 1,800%. I did a review of Robinhood, which you can watch right here. And if you'd like to sign up for Robinhood so you don't miss out on an opportunity like that, you can sign up using my link down below and you'll receive a free stock when you sign up. You could even receive Visa, who knows? Now don't feel too bad for me. I got into Visa a couple of years later. Even though the stock price was 3 times what it was at that IPO, I've still made over 300% on my shares of Visa. Now what I really love about Visa as the company, and the reason they land at number 1 on this list, is their business model. When you think about Visa, you obviously think about credit cards. But the thing is, Visa doesn't hold any of the credit card debt that people have on their credit cards. That's all owned by the banks that issue the credit cards. Visa merely acts as a sort of toll road. Every time you swipe a credit or debit card with the Visa logo on it, Visa collects a small fee for processing the transaction. And with the entire globe shifting away from physical cash and into electronic payments, Visa is set up to grow and dominate the market for years to come. And unless you're a true believer in Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency taking over, there's really no major threats to their business model on the horizon. Now, Visa's dividend is still small, but they've been paying it out since the IPO, and they've been showing a willingness to increase it each year. So that, combined with the rapid growth I believe Visa still has as an overall business, is why they land at number 1 on my list of dividend stocks which I plan to hold forever. So those are my 3 favorite dividend stocks which I plan to never sell. I know I promised a 4th, and before I give it to you, I'm going to need you to go down and hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. While you're down there, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. So now that you've been so generous as to do all those things for me, here's the bonus stock. And I hope it doesn't sound like a cop-out, but the 4th stock I'm going to mention as one of my favorite dividend stocks that I would hold forever is MasterCard. MasterCard is just so extremely close to Visa and so similar that it's really hard to love one and not love the other. They have very similar strengths, very similar weaknesses, and again, I don't see any major threats to that business model anytime soon. Now, MasterCard does trade at a significantly higher share price than Visa, but now with brokers like Robinhood and the other brokers that are letting you trade in fractional shares, that's no longer a barrier to entry. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to give it a like. It shows YouTube that this video is worth watching, and they'll push it out so other people can find it. Remember to also subscribe to the channel. I put out a new video every week. I don't want you to miss it. And if you're so inclined, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite stocks are. It'll give me something to research. Maybe we can all trade ideas. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. And of course, Lucky's barking upstairs, so I gotta wait. I mean, she went swimming with all her friends today. They were running around before and after swimming. Now it's, God, she goes to bed in like a half hour. All right, Lucky, stop barking, so I'm gonna record my thing now.